I'm talking about Haryana, and let me straight away give you the numbers. And I really don't want you to wait. And the numbers are in favor of the Congress party. And let me play out the first exit poll. This is by Metri's projections. BJP 18 to 24, Congress 55 to 62, INLD 3 to 6, and JJP from 0 to 3. So the Congress is a clear winner. It's a 90-seat assembly. The second is NDTV People's Pulse projection, BJP 2032, Congress 49 to 61. The midway mark is 45, INLD is 2 to 3, GJP is 0 to 1, AAP is a under here, and others 3 to 5. Let's go to the third one. And Dainik Bhaskar 15 to 29, Bharatiya Janata Party, Congress 44 to 54, JJP 0 to 1, INLD 1 to 5, AAP 1, and others 4 to 9. And then we go to the fourth one. And the fourth one is BJP 22-32, Congress 50-64. This is the most liberal one for the Congress party. Others 2-8 opening comments, and also joined by Dr. Nimi Rastogi, spokesperson Aam Aadmi Party. I'll come to you. And I'm also joined by Vipin Pabbi. Madam, I'll come to you. But first of all, let me go to Mr. Pabbi. Mr. Pabbi, which one is closest to the truth? And let me continuously play out these numbers for our viewers. So which is the closest one to the truth, Mr. Pabbi? Have a look at all the numbers.
Yeah. I think the NDTV one appears to be more credible. And, given what had happened to exit polls in the previous elections, in the Lok Sabha elections, I think this time all these pollsters would be more careful and will not get swayed away by whatever the claims of different parties is. So I think majority, of course, shows everyone shows that Congress is far ahead and can get a comfortable majority on its own. So that is a complete overall picture, and I think there is no doubt about it now, and this is what everyone had been talking about, and the projections are, I think, quite accurate, particularly of NDTV.
Okay. Brijesh?
Well, Karthike, the Dhruv research projection and also the NDTV, they differ by just one thing, one seat there. And I think they are the closest as far as these numbers are concerned. And I think, if you go by the projections or the numbers which are coming up, it's emerging very clear that what we have been discussing right from the first minute.
So which one is closest to the truth in your
understanding? I would go with Dhruv projections. I would say that if the Congress is winning, then the Congress would definitely be more than 50. I would rather go up to the figure of 60 in that.
Are you saying that the Congress is going to do a AAP in Haryana?
Most likely, yes. Because, the reason why I say, Karthike, is if you go by, last 10 years, 2019, when the last assembly election took place, there was, the Congress had upped its game. They got 30 seats. The BJP declined to 40 seats. Then came the 2024 general election. Out of 9, the BJP lost 5 seats and 4 seats, and that was very embarrassing performance by the BJP. They changed chief minister. Now I think if you go by the usual arithmetical analysis which is done, but barring that, seems to be a wave in favor of Congress. And if in an unlikely scenario of Kumari Shailja hurting Congress chances a big way, I would believe that the Congress would be somewhere up 55 at least.
Up 55. Up 55. Let me go across to the spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. Though Haryana is not the state in which I thought, they would be making grand debut. Dr. Rastogi, disappointed?
Well, absolutely not. I was listening to Brijesh and Karthike, so I was finding it very amusing to say, we've become the benchmark. Can Congress do an AAP in Haryana? Nobody can do an AAP in anywhere because we won 67 seats out of 70 seats.
Madam,
in
that's a phrase,
Madam,
that's a phrase. It's like when I was a cub journalist in 1998, long time ago in Asian Age, and then my editor, now a politician, now retired in Asian Age, he made a headline. He said, Lalu serves Rabri on Bihar. So that stayed with me. So when I say, can Congress do an AAP in Haryana, I think it's a backhanded compliment. I mean to say that you can always have a comeback in Indian politics. And that's the beauty of it. You always get a chance.
You can't talk of disappointment and compliment in the same breath. So what I'm saying is AP is always in a win-win situation. 10 years ago, nobody knew what AP, who AP is, Aam Aadmi Party is, and come to 11 years, we are actually in the position of, aligning with the party that is going to win majority. So what I mean to say is that we have nothing to lose. We contested in all the seats.
Okay.
We improved our organization. We got our karyakartas together. Our leaders got the sense of Haryana politics. And we actually are learning. We are very fast learners. So even if we don't win any seats, it's a
Okay.
great experience for us. And we will go upwards from here.
Ma'am, do you think your own question, can the Congress do an AAP in Haryana, is precisely because your entire top leadership, especially Arvind Kejriwal, was in jail on a corruption allegation for a long period, and not only him, your entire top leadership, and that kind of ended the credibility that AAP had in this region, Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, Rajasthan, Gujarat. Do you think that's the main reason, the decline of Arvind Kejriwal's credibility?
Not at all, absolutely not. In fact, that is the reason for decline of Bharatiya Janata Party, both in Jammu and Kashmir and in Haryana, because they got us trapped into wrong, fictitious, false cases, and that is why the credibility of Bharatiya Janata Party has been nosediving ever since. So we are actually the victims.
Okay,
and
fair
our
enough.
credibility-
Today is the day not to discuss Delhi and Arvind Kejriwal. I am also joined by Anirudh Prasad Singh from Bharatiya Janata Party. Thank you so much, sir, for joining me. Data is front of you. Which one is the closest to the truth, sir? आप चुन सकते हैं जो आपको लगे सबसे क्लोज है ट्रूथ के.
We are respecting
चॉइस
to
मैंने चॉइस दी है आपको कम से कम. मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि ये सही है अनुरुद्ध जी, मैं कह रहा हूँ यू कैन हैव योर पिक.
नहीं पिक करने की बात नहीं, हम लोग तो सबकी रेस्पेक्ट करते हैं, आप लोगों ने इतनी मेहनत किया है, लेकिन हम लोग कॉन्फिडेंट है कि वी आर गोइंग टू फॉर्म ए गवर्नमेंट जम्मू एंड कश्मीर एंड हरियाणा बोथ इन लीडरशिप ऑफ डबल इंजन सरकार. तो इसमें मुझे नहीं लगता है कि कोई इसमें पिक एंड चूज का है, क्योंकि ये एक एग्जिट पोल है. एग्जैक्ट पोल 8 तारीख को आएगा, फिर हम लोग डिबेट करेंगे उस दिन, तो डेफिनेटली 12 बजे के बाद क्लियर हो जाएगा.
नहीं, वैसे बात सही है कि एग्जिट पोल्स अकाट्य सत्य नहीं होते हैं. There have been surprises in Indian elections. I do admit that, and I openly say that. But sometimes the exit polls also get the picture right. Sometimes they get it wrong. जैसे लोकसभा में सब गड़बड़ हो गए थे. बीजेपी की 240 सीट आई थी, 400 पार नहीं हो पाया. But sometimes they get it right also, sir. एकदम पकड़ लेते हैं कई बार. तो इस बार आपको क्या लग रहा है, पकड़े हैं या नहीं पकड़े?
नहीं पकड़ मिला है.
नहीं पकड़ मिला है.
नहीं देखिए, हम लोग तो वहां पे काम करके आए हैं. मैंने तो अपनी पढ़ाई हरियाणा के अंदर किया है, और हरियाणा से मेरा करियर स्टार्ट हुआ है जैसे असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर एक गवर्नमेंट इंस्टीट्यूट से. तो उसके बाद छोड़ के हम लोग पॉलिटिक्स में है. लेकिन जो वहां का ब्रीथ है लोगों के समझ में, क्योंकि रीजन क्या है कि लोग अब इतने वोकल नहीं है. वो जाएंगे और किसी पॉलिटिकर को बता देंगे, साहब हमने बीजेपी को दिया, हमने कांग्रेस को दिया है, हमने इनको दिया है. क्योंकि ये कई बार हो चुका है. छत्तीसगढ़ में हुआ कि हम सरकार नहीं बना रहे हैं. सेम ऐसे हम लोगों के साथ में हुआ कि मध्य प्रदेश में हम सरकार नहीं बना रहे हैं. राजस्थान में हुआ नेक टू नेक फाइट है. सेम ऐसे कई जगहों पे हो चुका है कि भाई तो नेक टू नेक फाइट है, बीजेपी कहाँ सरकार में आ रही है. अभी जम्मू एंड कश्मीर में हो रहा था, क्लियर मेजोरिटी के साथ वहां पे गवर्नमेंट बन सकती है. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि हर जगह पे जो लोग, आज का जो वोटर होता बड़ा स्मार्ट सा है, वो इजी नहीं है. वो हम लोग को नहीं बताता है कि भाई हम किसको इमीडिएट वोट करने जा रहे हैं. तो किसी चैनल्स को थोड़ा, लेकिन ठीक है, लोगों ने मेहनत किया है, हम लोग उसकी रेस्पेक्ट करते हैं, ताकि लोगों तक जो भी उनका काम है, सर्वे एजेंसी, अगर हम लोग ऐसे कहेंगे नहीं अच्छा काम करती है, बुरा काम करती है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. वो लोग मेहनत करते हैं, उनकी भी एक जॉब है, तो डेफिनेटली कुछ ना कुछ कहेंगे वो.
ठीक,
लेकिन अब पहले का जमाना नहीं रहा है कि बच्चे
एग्जिट पोल एक बड़ी ऐसी चीज है जो
हटा दिया तो अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट बढ़ जाएगी एग्जिट पोल वालों की.
एग्जिट पोल ऐसी चीज है, पसंद आए तो अपना है, ना पसंद आए तो गलत होता है. अजित, टू यू, which is closer to the truth?
See, 3 out of the 5 exit polls are almost saying the same thing. I don't know if you guys noticed. Because they said 49, 49, 50. We thought that the initial numbers are different. And look at the sort of the higher figure, also. 62, 61, 64. So I would say if there are 5 polls and 3 polls are giving almost the same number, I would tend to agree, and that includes the NDTV poll that you pointed out. So I tend to agree that the Congress is doing rather well. not exactly reaching the figures that we were expecting, 65 in a sweep, but 62, even if they reach the lower figure, that gives them the right to form the government on their own. So if they don't need the AAP, they don't need any allies, and even if there is internal bickering, what might happen is Kumari Selja might be made the deputy CM, right? But basically, Bhupinder Hooda, it looks like going to be the chief minister of Haryana.
I slightly disagree. Deputy CM under Mr. Hooda means nothing. It will mean nothing the way deputy chief minister under Gehlot, it meant nothing. Because ultimately, you neither control the portfolios, you have a beacon, you have a house, but you do not control the system. Mr. Prasad.
Well, I think you're quite right, because no chief minister would like to let go of the power that is bestowed through the office. Very few. Forget about deputy chief minister. Kartikeya, and I think to extent Brajesh should also know that we have heard these complaints across previous government that the junior ministers never got work from the senior ministers. This happened at the central level. So it's okay. I mean, that's the politics of it. But I have a question to ask to Ajit.
Okay.
He is good with figures, and he has a very fine eye and look at. Do you think somewhere after the kind of admonition, if I were to use that word a little stronger, the pollsters or the rap on the knuckles after the Lok Sabha, some of them have turned conservative?
Well, the interesting question is, if there was a variation among pollsters, we would have said, okay, suppose two of them said BJP winning, then we would have said there's a rap. Here we see there's almost identical figures coming. It almost looks as if the polling agency has given the same figure to different pollsters, and they have just tweaked the numbers. So that shows all exit poll I have never seen in my life since I've been doing polling, all exit polls going wrong.
Okay, Ajit, there's another thing. Fundamentally, let me ask you the question, because earlier the politics of Haryana, used to be divided into three Lals: Bansi Lal, Bhajan Lal, and Devi Lal. Devi Lal का जो कुनबा है वो पॉलिटिकल मैप से गायब हो रहा है. जो बंसीलाल का कुनबा है वो एक जगह एब्जॉर्ब हो गया है. जो भजन लाल का कुनबा है, it's not the strongest. Most of the chief ministers have done 10 years. Will it be a record for Mr. Hooda if he gets 5 more years, 15 years? He will be clocking 15 years in Haryana. I think the last time any gentleman did more than 7 years in one run was Bansi Lal when Indira Gandhi was Prime Minister.
I completely agree with you. It will be a record by Mr. Hooda. He's done 10 years in the past, 5 years certainly now. He's 77. Hopefully he won't continue even if he wins the next time. But see, the interesting question is why? Why Mr. Hooda has become the big hero of Haryana today?
And the
simple explanation, that's the interesting explanation, that earlier, if you look at both 2014 and 2019, the Jat vote was divided. INLD cut, JJP cut. This time, INLD, JJP is khatam. Mr. Hooda gets the entire Jat vote plus the Dalit vote, because of what happened in the Lok Sabha elections, because of the constitution, the fact that the Dalit vote wants to be protected via the constitution, has come in consolidation with the Jat vote, plus add to it the 5 to 6%, 7% Muslim vote.